All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you, whoever and wherever you are. I'm Oliver Perry. Welcome, IG family. Welcome. I wanted to hop on live, so I'm doing live once a week, 6 o'clock, every week on Wednesday. Doesn't matter where I'm at, whether I got this nice setup or I do not, I will be on live. Logan, Cody, what's up? Corey, what's up? Hey, Corey, you said hello while I was dancing, brother, in the background, and I appreciate that. That made me feel good. So today I wanted to, like, in an effort to be more behind the scenes with you guys and to give you guys kind of the stuff that I'm learning and figuring out as I'm creating this brand and I am working in the real estate field, is one thing that I've been really wrestling with for the last couple weeks, and that's finding your niche. And what it is for me, I've got a lot of stuff happening with the Oliver Perry brand, with real estate in general, with my team there, and those that I work with in the single family space. And I realized, the message and information I'm putting out on IG is great. The stuff that I'm doing on YouTube and the podcast is all wonderful, but I need to niche down. And in the idea of doing this, I figured I'd come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about it, about what I've learned so far, and hopefully, prayerfully, that'll help you out there somewhere who are doing the same thing, figuring it out, because I do enjoy the marketing part of the game. I do enjoy getting on camera and speaking. It just happens to work for me for whatever reason. I'm not super talented, but I do enjoy what I do, so I'm working to get better at it, and the podcast and all that great stuff kind of helps. So this whole entire conversation is going to be just me talking and answering anything anybody says, that kind of thing. Major George, is that Ellie? Ellie, how you guys doing? Good to see you both. I'm glad you guys could join in. So here's what's going on. A little background. As I told you, I'm working on IG. I'm working on the Oliver Perry brand, and now I've got a podcast called The Oliver Perry Show. You can see it on YouTube and all the podcast formats that you have. And it has been an interesting experience because they tell you in entrepreneurship, ready, shoot, aim. Yeah, ready, shoot, aim. And basically it's people telling you to just go, go, go. What up, Carlette? How are you, ma'am? It's good to see you, my friend. As always, we definitely got to connect and get on the phone. We got some talking to do and catching up to do. So, you got to do those things. Is ready, shoot, aim, right? Just go, go, go until you figure it out. Here's what happens when you do that. You hit a point and you realize, okay, I'm doing stuff, but I'm not doing it to the right people, if that makes sense. So I'm not talking to the right people. And for me right now, that kind of feels like the case. I'm in the real estate space. I'm talking to people in real estate, but I don't feel like it's direct enough. So I've spent the last month and a half working to figure out what that niche needs to be, where I need to be aimed at, how I need to be dancing in that space. So that's partly what caused me to start doing lives that's behind the scenes and to start putting out more information on my podcast and my YouTube, because I'm working to figure that out, right? I want the YouTube to be the primary route. From the YouTube, everything else sprouts from there. So in that vein, like I said, I've been doing the research, and I want to share with you guys what I've learned up to this point. Now, none of these bars are mine. Not a single, well, maybe a couple. There's a couple bars in it that are mine, but for the most part, these bars are someone else's, or I'm learning from elsewhere. So don't by any means think I am the end all be all. I am not. You're more than welcome to chime in. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feelings. Nothing's wrong with that. I'm learning as I go along. I just want to share with you guys. So hopefully when you get to the point, if you're not there already, you're working on your own brand, you have your own business, you have these lessons going into the game as opposed to figuring out as you go in. So, figure out as you're going along. So here's what I've discovered so far. I watched a YouTube video recently, and they talked about, it was Sean Kennelly with Think Media. And they talked about passion, proficiency, and profit were the three ways that they cut it out. And what they said was, it's always going to be something you're passionate about, something that you have a proficiency in, and something that you can make money from. Here's the other side of it. The other side, I actually learned from Nikki Saunders, Kurt the Connector, Miss Carlette Hewitt is another one that I listen to and learn from, and one of my mentors, Lalitha Arnold. I talk to them almost constantly, or not constantly necessarily, but I talk to them often. So something that we've learned in these, what I've learned in these spaces is that the question isn't necessarily just who are you, what are you talking about, right? It's directly who are you talking to, what problem they're in are you talking to. So what I mean by that is, if I am a plumber and I want to get on the phone and I want to bring people in who want to get my plumbing services, what I'm going to do is talk about the plumbing problem. I'm going to talk about the seasons when they're having plumbing issues. I'm going to talk about whatever issues they have at whatever time and how that's not working. Okay, what's the drainage look like? Okay, now the piping. What kind of piping do you use? Do you have the brass pipes? Do you have the PVC pipes? What's going on there? So all these things are things that you got to speak to, right? So that's what I've been learning on the other side, like I said. Now back to the Sean Cannelly Think Media stuff. So talk about passion. Passion is something you're very passionate about. So we're going to go with an example here. I am in love with soccer. Have been in love with soccer for some time. So soccer is something I'm passionate about. Am I proficient in soccer? Not necessarily talking in it. I've played soccer and I played at a relatively high level. So I did decent there. So I've got some proficiency. Now, how can I make money off of it? Well, I'm in the U.S. Army. I don't necessarily have time to go out and do these trainings and do all this stuff while managing the family right now. It's just not going to work because I'm constantly moving. So I'd set something up in an area for a year, and then I move a year and a half later, right? So it's not conducive necessarily for me to do that. So this is all things that as I've said, I'm figuring out. So what I'm learning and realizing is that real estate is great for me, right? I enjoy real estate. I've done a flip. I don't want to necessarily do a flip again. I may just actually, if I find the right crew, the right people to work with. I've got a couple private lenders that are willing to work with me now. And, I've got a multifamily team some people that I'm working with on multifamily, figuring out the multifamily piece. And now I've got to figure out how to raise money, things of that nature. So again, it's the catch with the Oliver Perry is I did it in the idea to share the journey, going from 2 to 625 doors. And I don't know how I'm doing that, right? So I don't have necessarily a path to say, okay, I'm going to get here and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm figuring it out as I go along, which again goes back to the behind the scenes. Now, back to the issue with the niche, knowing what the niche is difficult because I constantly feel like I'm not talking to the right person, like I said before. So I'm taking these few tools and working to figure out what it is. So one question that I was asked by my mentor directly, she said, why would I give you my money? She said, whatever the platform is, whatever wave you're on, why would I give you money? And that's a question I wanted to make sure that I shared with you along with these other points is when you're looking for somebody to purchase from you, when you're looking for somebody to work with you, when you're looking for somebody to donate to you or give you private money or whatever it is, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what are they getting out of it? It's something Jose Bennett said. It said, "What's in it?" What's in it for me? And everybody tunes into a specific station. I can't remember how he said it, but if you go to one of his videos, you'll see. But basically, it's what's in it for me. The person is always going to say, "What's in it for me?" And the interesting part about this entire thing is, we all already know this because we all do it. When we go to Best Buy, it's what's in it for me. When we're going to Walmart, it's in what's in it for me. If I'm going to the commissary because I'm in the military, I know what's in it for me is a cheaper price. So I'm going to go to the commissary as opposed to go to Walmart. When it's more convenient to me, I'll go to Walmart because commissary might be packed for whatever reason. So these are all things that I'm constantly now asking myself and working to figure out. And I just find it interesting because there's so many of us that are out here and we're working and you're hustling and you're doing all these great things, but you're not targeted enough. So I wanted to, like I said, come on here and talk about this stuff. So back to the points of, the proficiency. So one thing that I really went through is wrote down all the stuff that I'm doing, all the places that I'm at, all the places I'm going. And I had a conversation with one of my mentors, of course, Levitha Arnold. And I had a conversation, and I spilled all this stuff to her. And the one thing she said that struck me was, don't force it. She said, don't force it. Don't make it what you want it to be. You have to let it come, which seemed interesting to me. Hi, Dana. Which seemed interesting to me. It's interesting to me because having that mentality, having that thought process to be patient enough is just another thing that brings that niche out. So the more that I've spent time thinking about it, these pieces are falling out of the air and I'm grabbing them, right? I'm grabbing them. But I'm trying to force the puzzle pieces together as opposed to letting them fall into place. And now I've got to pull back. And it's another lesson in the entire entrepreneur journey when you look to figure out your own niche. You can do all you want in one direction, right? But at some point you're going to have to tighten that shot group, because what happens is, like right now, I'm in real estate. I'm doing the real estate thing. And I get a lot of followers on IG that are real estate agents. Not bad at all. I have nothing against it. I'm glad they followed. I'm glad they get to enjoy the videos and they have a good time, that kind of thing. But I need to do more. I need to be more direct. I need to figure out does it need to be the real estate agent who can't seem to get his or her video right? Because we're in the age of COVID-19, right? So they don't know how to do their video. Maybe that's the wave. Maybe it's, hey, I need somebody who's going to be able to host whatever event I have for my investors, if it's for an investing firm or something to that effect. So I just think it's interesting. It's really difficult. But before I bounce, because I got 15 minutes. So going back to the proficiency, the passion, and the profit thing, I'm going to give you the exact same thing that I learned through watching the video with Sean Kennelly. So what you do is you take those 3 points, passion, proficiency, and profit, and you put them into circles, 3 different circles overlaying on top of each other. Let me see if I can show you guys how it would look. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like that, right? Do it like that. Now that sweet spot right here, where is it at? Right there. That's the spot you want to be in. That's the spot where your niche is. Now, again, none of these are my bars. I am only taking what I've learned and sharing it with those who are out here, who are listening, who are paying attention, because I don't want you guys to have to go and do what I do. And I spend a ton of time on YouTube and IG listening to the people that I believe in, that I have trust in, working to figure out my own way so that I can have that own trust and all that great stuff on my side. I apologize if I'm diving this way every now and then. It's because for whatever reason, I should have put my phone on do not go to sleep, because the bad boy keeps trying to go to sleep on me. But neither here nor there. So I just find, like I said, I find it really interesting because it's as you keep going down the path and as you're going in whatever you're doing, you're going to see all these things that are going to, one, distract you, quote unquote opportunities, not necessarily opportunities, but they seem and look like opportunities. They're going to try and pull you away from what you're doing, and you've got to narrow in. So, knowing I'm doing podcast, what's interesting, people ask me, oh, so why are you podcasting? Well, the podcast is so that I have stuff on YouTube, because the YouTube is my primary move, right? I want to be able to make money on YouTube. I want to be able to take that funding and go build some affordable housing for families, for couples. I want to be able to take that same money and go put tiny houses at HBCUs. These are all things that I want to do. But to do that, I've got to put myself out there, number one. Number two, I've got to find ways to build and really give back to the same community that gives to me. Perfect example, I've been said, hey, Ali, can you put Portuguese subtitles on your videos? So now I'm working to figure out the Portuguese subtitles thing. And it's not because necessarily that I can speak Portuguese, no. But it is because if I can help somebody who's, let's say, in Portugal, who's in Brazil, I don't know where the heck else they speak Portuguese, but when in these places, I want to be able to give that to them. But as I'm doing that, I've got to make sure whatever I'm doing is very direct and very targeted. And it's an interesting process. It's a painful process. And I cannot lie to you, like I've been annoyed for last 3 or 4 weeks working to figure it out. Just working to figure out. Hola, Astrid. And Astrid just came on, and hey, Astrid, how you doing? So I'm working to figure out all that stuff, and it's really, really, what's the word? It's really simple when you think about it, but because there's so many paths, and you, as a person, you don't want to be single dimensional. But I've got to tell you, like, I've learned up to this point, this is what I was told. This is what I heard. Matter of fact, not I was told. I heard this as I was doing my research. The young lady said, you want to do one thing or two things or three things. You're a multi-layered person, right? I play soccer. I am a comic book geek. I am a video game player. I'm a father. I'm a U.S. soldier. I'm all these things, and I'm a fan of watches. I like to watch, minor league baseball if I can, find hats. I do all this stuff, right? But I've got to find one thing and stick with that one thing. I want to be known as this. And that's really the point of the entire niche, because the niche isn't just who you're speaking to. It's more of the problem you're speaking to. So it's something, like I said, that I'm working out. I'm figuring out. I wanted to get on today to talk to you guys about it and kind of spill the beans on what's happening there. And now that I've gotten through that, if you got questions, please, by all means, drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments, wherever. I appreciate you guys just taking the moment to come on and to watch and to be with me. I cannot tell you how much that means, because it is difficult to be on by yourself. But it's nothing new. I've done it before. I'll probably have to do it again here soon at some point on YouTube. Sorry, IG, my bad, I got a call. So on YouTube, all that great stuff, I'm going to be on there at some point doing live. Once I figure out through my system if it can be done on all three platforms at the same time, that's what I'll do. But until then, I'm here at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And I might even start coming on more often. We'll see how that works. We'll see what happens. But so quick update on the other things. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, look at Miss Harold. Thank you, ma'am. So some other things that are happening. So I've got quite a few things happening, of course, in the military. That's a good job, a good thing. So you got me about to say good job, but it's a good thing, which isn't bad by any means. It's just a lot of travel has come up. So I'm figuring out this whole travel, how to do the travel and to have my stuff done. And I'm doing stacking now for my content, which is always fun. Just sitting down and knocking out a bunch of content. So this weekend will be one of those weekends where I'm doing it. In the meantime, though, I'm looking at multifamily. And this is the part that I'm really excited about. Yes, I get on IG and I talk. I get on all these platforms and I talk and we discuss things. But even then, what's most exciting to me is actually doing the work. Even though I did a flip and I'm not a fan of how that flip turned out, I cannot deny that I enjoyed the actual work, the process of going from the place looking like trash to the place looking amazing. And for those of you who are just jumping on, I've already talked really about the figuring out your niche piece. I'm actually just giving everybody a little bit update what's happening with me. And that's because I want to do that before I hop off, so you guys always know what's going on. Once a week, I'll be here Wednesday, 6 o'clock, every week, on time, even maybe not with this background, might not be this fancy, and it may at sometimes end up getting restricted to IG as opposed to FB, simply because I may not be able to have my fancy smancy camera here in the field with me with the U.S. Army. It's just cameras and bullets don't really mix. It's not it's not a good thing for me. So because I don't want to buy another $1,000 camera, that would suck. So these are all things that are happening. So where was I at? Oh yeah, so multifamily. So now my team, I'm working with some people looking at multifamily things. I'm still a free agent, if you will, out here working in the street, working the capital raising, and it is fun. It's fun, but I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult. All this stuff that you see people doing, and what's interesting is you hear people say all the time, I've got 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 units. That's cool. What's the percentage on their units? Right? What's the number that you have? And this is not to count anybody's pocket. I'm just saying for those who are interested in real estate or those who are looking at real estate in general, this is something you want to keep in mind, right? Are you okay with having 2% of 1,000 units, or would you prefer 100% of 100 units, right? You got to kind of weigh, pick your poison there. But again, tying this back to the niche thing, it's really about what your end goal is going to be. Because if you're going after, I'm going after 625 doors. So doing a flip once a year or twice a year or 3 times a year isn't going to get me that 625 doors within the 4-year time frame that I had before I retired. So it doesn't make no sense. Hey, La. Oh, that's my friend and my mentor, Lalitha Arnold. What up, La? So that's not going to get me to where I want to go. So I have to be more calculated about where I'm going, right? Or what I'm doing. At the beginning of the year, I said my philosophy for the year was going to be all roads lead to the end goal. So if it's in business and if it's in all these things that isn't real estate or isn't getting me to that 625 doors, I'm not going to do it. The reason I have an IG, the reason I have YouTube, the reason I started a podcast was to get myself out there to be able to see that 625 doors. That's absolutely right, Cody. That's absolutely right. Cody said, you got to focus. He's 100% right? You have to focus. My brother Chris just popped up. What's up, Chris? So you have to focus. You have to dial in on whatever it is. You have to be really precise and direct on what you're after and what you want to do. So I got to know, okay, IG's cool, but if IG at any point I feel like IG's not getting me to 625 doors, it's not going to allow me to get my face out there to reach more people, okay, I'm going to have to shift, right? I'm going to have to change. I don't want to use the word pivot. I'm going to just say shift. I'm going to say rotate, stuff like that, right? Pivot's been killed. People killing the word pivot at this point. But doing that, I've got to figure that out, right? So that's the whole reason I have a podcast, that I have a YouTube, that I have an IG, is because all that's going to help me get my face out there when it comes to raising capital and things of that nature, to put towards 625 units, to put towards 1,000 units, to put towards, a single family flip, let's say, a small multifamily, whatever it is. But it's not just about me doing that, because I can't help people who don't see me, right? So if I don't put myself out there, people won't see me. No matter how uncomfortable it gets, how awkward I might seem on camera at times, how weird I might speak. I might speak too clearly, or I might use a slang term that I really shouldn't use on any platform. It's just what it is, but it's part of the growth, right? So having the ability to put myself out there and to go towards these things is the main reason that I'm on these platforms. And it's, again, me niching down, figuring out that niche step by step, bit by bit. And I'm actually reading a book, The Atomic Habits by James, I think it's James Clear. Yeah, James Clear. And I'm actually in a group known as the Morning Meetup. If you're wondering about the Morning Meetup, you can go to my, there we go. Sorry, guys. You can go to my profile on IG at the Oliver Perry. It's in there. There's a link to the Morning Meetup. You can join up for $1 and be a part of the family for, I think it's a week is the trial period. But it's a dope group. Anyway, neither here nor there. In Atomic Habits, it's exactly it, Chris. It talks about 1 a day. 1%. Figuring out 1%. I've got a YouTube. Yes, is the YouTube amazing? I'd like to think so. Thank you very much. It's only got like 5 or 6 videos, but that's not what matters, right? So I put whatever up there, and I know that I'm going to go and grow it, right? So how do I grow it? I got to go 1% a day. So I know right now, even though the YouTube's up, it still needs a banner. So I've got to create a banner. Then, got to create a banner. Then after I create the banner, I've got to create the intro video because my YouTube doesn't have an intro video at this point. And I can't, so I set up goals for each one, right? 625 doors is my ultimate goal for the next 4 years. How do I do that? Well, having 1,000 followers on YouTube wouldn't hurt. So by the end of the year, I'll have up to, I'm going for 2,000, 2,000 by the end of the year. Subscribers on YouTube, because that's 2,000 more people I can reach out to. That's 2,000 more people I can touch, right? 2,000 more people that I can say hello to and greet. Ali, what's up, bro? These are all people that I can reach out to and touch and be a part of their lives and be an influence in whatever they're doing and helping them figure it out. And therefore, they're going to say, oh, you know what? Maybe I can reach out to Ali. Maybe he can help me with this real estate problem. I've got this I need to do and I don't know what to do. Let me reach out to Ali. Maybe he can tell me how to do better advertisement on IG, YouTube. These are all things, like I said, I'm working. And again, all roads lead to the end goal. If it's not 625 doors, it's not what I'm after, right? So the same thing should be with anybody who's looking to figure out their own niche. Figure out where you want to go. Decide that first. Where do I want to go? How far do I want to go in there? Then start going. As you're going, figure out the pieces. I can tell you right now, there's going to be a couple things, and I'm looking at my board here because I wrote this down a little bit earlier because it's stuff that I'm working on now. There's systems you're going to need, right? Do as much research as you can prior to going forward. Perfect example. I knew in doing a podcast, I knew I was going to get swamped with life. Life itself just swamps you sometimes. So what you do is I stack. So I've got 6 episodes out right now, 23, I think, in pocket. And I've got another 5 or 6 I'm working on now. And then I'm going to keep sending invites out. And then what's great is I've got to go somewhere, I think next month. Got to travel next month. The best thing is I've already got all this stuff recorded that I needed. All of it's recorded. All the stuff that I need to put out, it's already recorded. All I got to do is send my audio guy and he's going to take care of it. Shout out to Donald the Voice. So I say all that to say, these are things that you have to figure out as you're doing your niche, but you won't figure out until you start doing it. I tell people all the time, and even in this niche piece, you don't know your voice until you start speaking, right? For those of you who are uncomfortable figuring out your niche, I get it. If you're uncomfortable being on IG, on YouTube, I get it. Nobody said your face got to be on there. You could do voiceovers. You got ability to do voiceovers. You can just do pictures, right? You can do what's his name? Tony Baker. Tony Baker. I don't know if he's an extrovert, introvert. He's a comedian. I'm going to guess he's an extrovert. But he does voiceovers of animals. Animal voiceovers. That's it. Well, that's not it. He does some other stuff too. What's up, Jason? He does some other stuff too. But that's part of what it is. That's what makes him great, right? And because he's doing that, it makes it even better. It makes it better. Like he just keeps going with it, keeps going with it. And to get back to the point, that's the same thing that we should be doing, because you don't have to necessarily put yourself on the video. You can do whatever else. Find creative ways. Go online, go on your YouTube, go on your IG, watch somebody else, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm working to find my niche by looking at other people, figuring out what everybody else is doing. And not because I'm copying them, because sometimes you need that inspiration. And I think that's another key point of figuring out your niche. Figure out what you're inspired by. The matter of fact, during one of the lessons that I listened to, he said, hey, go online and take a look at what you searched. Hey, Fifi, take a look at what you search. Miss Thomas is dope. It's nice to see you, Miss Thomas. So take a look at what they're doing and learn what you search for yourself, right? So when you go on your YouTube, I can see the history of all the stuff I watch. And most of it's stuff on video editing. I do a lot of video editing, slightly because I enjoy it and I'm a weirdo. Also because I'm cheap and I don't, I don't want to pay nobody else to do it. And that's expensive, man. I'm not trying to pay somebody else to do those videos all the time. So that's on mine, right? So is real estate. So is video games. So I know there's certain things in there that I can use and I got to pull from. I just got to sit down and keep going through it. So, again, I appreciate you guys coming on. I appreciate you guys being a part of this talk to self. And hopefully that something that I said tonight might help you out in whatever you're doing and whatever goal you have, whatever dream you have, whatever business you want to open, whatever it might be. Hopefully and prayerfully something that I said today helped you out. Now, if you got questions or you want to, just want to chat, hit me up, let me know. I'll send you a Calendly invite. I've got all kinds of 15-minute calls all the time. I got no problem with it. I love talking to people. I love talking to those who are out here doing great things. And you never know, we may be able to do something great together. And that was probably would be one of the things I'd really prefer. I'd love to work with as many people as possible, doing as many great things as possible. But again, if it's not $625, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm just going to tell you not at the moment, right? Because at the moment, I'm on that $625. I'm not playing with that. I'm going to get that $625 before the end of 4 years when I get up out of the U.S. Army. And it's going to be glorious. It'll be fun. 100% even. But the path to get there is going to be even better because hopefully I can affect everybody who's on this call. Hopefully I can affect everybody who's on the IG, everybody who's on the what is it? Facebook. I'm tripping. I kept thinking YouTube. Everybody on YouTube too. Yeah. If I can affect as many people as possible, that's what I'm going to do. So for now, I got to go, but just remember, you're better than you were, but you're not half as good as you're going to be. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next time.